like nothing's changed since the last time we. I mean, it's all the same, right? Like Gukesh
we've had
hasn't
we've had a couple of
played.
we've had a couple of, let's say, interviews being posted. The one that was on Take Take Take, Magnus's new app with Ding and his team. I thought that put him in a good, positive light, and he showed his usual human side, but also he showed that he's taking this very seriously, and his team seems to be very much behind him, and they seem to believe that he can do it, which obviously has been the big topic of discussion. Is this a one-sided match? Is it not? Based on recent results, obviously you could make the case that it's a one-sided match, but a match is a match, and Ding has shown that he can play very, very well when he needs to. He's done that against Jan. So,
I mean, I would argue that he did not play very well against Jan.
sure,
I would argue that they both played poorly.
sure,
I that's
yes.
been my position for the last year. Like during the match, that was my feeling. It was a poorly played match. The um the circumstances do kind of explain that a bit. The pressure goes up, the quality goes down, normal. But still, uh the general feeling I think is that regardless of this pressure and the situation and everything at stake, it still wasn't. They weren't at their best. And now, if we talk about Ding over the last few years, this is just my objective feeling about him. I guess it's not objective if it's just my feeling, but like I'm not trying to be biased. I just look at his results and what have I seen in the last few years. So if we go back to 2019, which was a long time ago, he was legitimately, yeah, top three in the world for sure. And in 2019, he did win the Grand Chess Tour, and that was one of the most impressive results of 2019,
Yes.
along with maybe Magnus and Zagreb. Okay,
No, that was
he was
definitely
super
it.
strong.
That was definitely it.
He was one of those players where you just see that he has the stability, he has the general strength to play more close to perfect chess if he's at his best.
And the confidence.
Um,
I think the confidence was a big
yeah,
one.
yeah, he was definitely confident at that time. He's not like he's a kind of quiet person, so it doesn't stand out so much. But everyone understood how strong he was. Like it was very clear. So 2019, definitely a top three player in the world if we're going by those results. Now, a lot happened in 2020 in the world in general. One of the things which happened for chess specifically was, of course, that the candidates was completely messed up. First, by the fact that the um, general kind of arrangement in the tournament was not good. I mean, the conditions for playing chess at the time were not good, and also because the tournament was cut in two. So, for example, Ding had to go through a long quarantine to play. He quarantined for like 2 weeks in Moscow before going to Yekaterinburg.
Yeah.
And then he had a poor result. He finished on a minus score, and he had no hopes of winning that candidates. And then it was not terminated, it was postponed midway after 7 rounds. And then he came back a year later, basically playing no chess in 2020. Besides that, like almost nothing, some online events, but no over the board chess. He came back in 21 and he had a great second half of the candidates, but it was only enough to score 50%, I think. I think he scored +3. He was -3 after the first
Yes.
half.
Yes. 50%.
So, but yeah, 2021 first half, all good. Although again, if you have to travel to a candidate that you have no chance to win from the very beginning, it just feels terrible. So okay, we don't have many games in that time period, and in general, it's not good if someone isn't playing games because it you need to practice.
Yeah.
Um, then 2022, because he basically played nothing for the rest of 21, as far as I know. But basically, Ding has not qualified for the next candidates. He has nothing to do. He can't play, or he's not willing to travel to play, which is also understandable. But then Karyakin is kicked out of the candidates because of the things he said online and the things he supported, and Ding gets a once in a lifetime opportunity to qualify for the candidates basically just by playing some games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he has a pretty middling candidates if you think about it. Like he from the first
He
round, he
finished on plus
basically
one,
had
didn't
no
he?
he finished on +2,
Plus two. Okay. Yeah.
which is a fine result. But like the thing is he lost the first round against Jan, and then he drew a bunch of games, and meanwhile Jan was racking up wins. And after like 6 rounds, there was zero chance pretty much for Ding to get first place, which is usually what you need to win the candidates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the circumstances were that he qualified by beating Hikaru in the last round because second place was enough, which people had probably had some idea, but of course we couldn't 100% know that. And then he did beat Hikaru when he needed to,
In
you
the
could
last
say,
round.
because
Mm-hmm.
at least like they both had a feeling that there's at least like some chance that second place qualifies, and they were the only people who could get it. So basically, Hikaru draws, he gets second. Ding wins, he gets second. Um, and it turned out that second place did matter quite a lot. And then he qualified for the World Championship match. Now, still, how many games has he played in the last? From 2020, he played
Not
7
many.
games.
Not many.
2021, he played 7 games. 22, I don't count the qualification for the candidates games he played because they were like kind of strange
He's been out.
tournaments, nothing at stake.
He's been completely out.
So
Yes.
he played nothing, right? And then he played Vaikan Zay in 2023. He scored like -3. He won the match against Jan by scoring 50% and winning the rapid tiebreak in a impressive fashion, I must say. It was a good rapid tiebreak. Then he scores -2 in the Bucharest Grand Chess Tour event. Then he doesn't play. Then he goes to Wiesenhaus um in this year, 2024.
Yeah.
And he has a horrific result. He played Vaikenze. He scored like -2 again. -2, I think -3 and 20. So it's like all minus scores. Then he played Grenke. He like lost nearly all his games. Wiesenhaus, he lost nearly all his games. Like basically he could not play chess. I
Right.
mean, he was playing at like a legitimate, I'm not exaggerating, like probably 2500 level. Um in a lot of events like Grenke and Wiesenhaus, for example. And a lot of events were just like minus scores, like -2, -3, -2, -3. And then he played Norway and he literally blundered mate in 1. I mean, or mate in 2, whatever it was. And he scored again -3, I think. But he started to feel a bit better at the end of Norway. Like, okay, he's fighting now. He's putting some pressure on his opponents. And then, like, if we had stopped here, I would basically say, I mean, for whatever reason, even though he's a great player, something is causing him to basically play at a, let's say, 2600 level. And that's not exaggeration. That's the performance rating that you'll find in most
Right.
of the events that he played.
Right. Right. I mean, he did go from
Like,
like 2800 to 2730 or whatever he is right now.
yeah, 20, 28 or something like that.
Yeah, that's a big drop.
Then there were some like bright moments after that. I think Norway chess was like, that was the lowest point. At that point, it felt like he couldn't play anymore. Then the second half of Norway chess, he drew Hikaru with black. He drew me from a position of strength. He drew Prague from a position of strength. It wasn't ideal that he was missing chances, but still, he's getting chances and he's not losing games. That's already a step up.
Yeah.
Then he played Sinkfield Cup, which for most of it I really felt like was a step up again because he drew all his games, but he didn't lose any.
I would
And
slightly disagree with you on that one. Watching it fairly closely, I felt like he was a player that did not necessarily want to be there first of all, and I think this is already a pretty negative sign. But also his assessment of the positions was shocking to me for the most part. the couple of times that I had him in the studio doing interviews, it felt like he just was not confident enough to be able to assess the positions, which is a skill that you need to have. You literally cannot play chess at the top level without having a good assessment tool by your side, and he doesn't have that. He just simply doesn't have that, and this was reinforced to me during the Olympiad. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he managed to correct that, to work on that, if he's done any sort of specific preparation to try to be able to, any training games to be able to be at his top level in those last couple of hours, which I think is going to be crucial, given the general trend that Gukesh has been showing, and he loves to put pressure late in the game. He loves the grind. At least that's how I feel about it. So if he doesn't manage
Yeah,
to
like
match that intensity that Gukesh is certainly going to bring to the table, I think he's in for a very rough time.
yeah, I mean that's like it's mostly negative. I mean, I think you're basically correct. Like everything we say is negative. I think like Sinquefield Cup, I only said it seemed like a step up because he was drawing games, not losing them. Of course, he was spoiling chances. That's not a good thing. I mean, you need to win to win a match. You probably need to win games. You can, I guess, theoretically draw your games and win a match. Actually, it has been done before, as you know. But
Yes.
but but more likely than not, you especially in a very long match, and they're playing 14 games, right? That you're probably gonna have to win at least one game,
Yes.
and so it's mostly negative. But still, Sinkfield Cup, I was feeling like basically in Norway chess, it was so bad that I was trying to win with the black pieces against him, which is kind of obscene. Like to try to win with the black pieces, taking extraordinary risks in the classical game against a 2780 player, a world champion, is I wouldn't think about it unless the tournament situation dictated. But I basically thought he wants to draw so badly, I need to like put pressure with the black pieces. That's why I played like the King's Indian with Bishop f5
Yep. Yep. I
against him.
remember. I remember that game.
Then in the Singfield Cup, I changed my feeling. Maybe it was a personal thing, but I looked at Ding. He looked more steady, and I decided just to play like normal openings and not try to go crazy. Um, Still, I got a worse position. And then the Olympiad really, I felt like was a kind of downturn. I mean, losing better position against Likwang, Liam, uh, then like it's a better position than it's a basically drawn end game, and then you just lose it was pretty bad. And then the fact that he got absolutely winning position for the opening against Noterbeck, just completely winning, and then can't win, like just -5 basically, uh, and you just spoil it in one move. And then also against Parham, like just winning king and pawn endgame at some point. I mean, it was with bishops, but it like you can trade bishops and then you just win a king and pawn game.
Yep.
And it was like, yeah, if you can't win these positions, basically free points, just gifts that he was given from Noterbeck, who was obviously um, felt like Ding is such a target that he lost all objectivity. If you can't win that, it's not a good sign. So at the moment, that's like really negative. What's the positive for Ding? The positive is he has a really good score against Gukesh. That's a positive. He's 2-0. And Gukesh is one of the few people he's beaten in recent times. Like he won a game this year against Gukesh
Mm-hmm.
in Vikings.
Yeah.
I think he won 2 games in Vikings. And I may be forgetting things, but I'm not sure he won any other classical games this year because in Olympiad, I don't think he won any games.
I don't think he
In
did.
Sinfield Cup,
He
he
didn't.
didn't win any games. In Norway Chess, he didn't win any games. Grenke, he won games, but that wasn't classical. And Wiesenhaus, which was classical Fisher random, I also don't think he won any games. So Gukesh seems to be the one player that he's managed to beat. Uh, he also beat Max Warmerdam, but yeah, it's overall pretty negative except for that one thing. The other positive is, of course, Ding is a great player.
Yes.
So if somehow he fixes whatever issue is holding him back, and that's a big if, like that's not only an if of if he does it, but the if is it even possible at this point to do it? Because you can't just like reverse things with a snap, you know? It's years and years of bad results. It's not like 2 months of bad form. He's literally had 4 years straight of bad form. In which at which point you say, is it actually form or is he just not the same player that he was? I mean, that's at least that's how I would see it. Like it's not form anymore. It's 4 years. That's just who you are now.
Yeah.
Um, but if he can find his uh the play that we know he is theoretically capable of, then yeah, he's probably not worse than Gukesh. Still, I don't know. I don't know if I would say he's a better player even in that case, but uh, yeah. Well, there's one other bright point. Gukesh had a poor European Club Cup. I mean, he had a great Olympiad, but his European Club Cup was pretty dismal. Um, Olympiad was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, one of the highest performances of all time. You can't criticize a single game basically that Gukesh played.
Yeah.
But European Club Cup was not great. So there's that.
I'll add another
Uh,
positive for Ding, just because it does feel like we're always trying to find the negatives, but it's not the case. We're just trying to assess it objectively, and I would say another positive, or maybe a couple of positives that I'm seeing. One of them being the first couple of games and the experience that he has in comparison to Gukesh. We know how nerve-wracking those first couple of games, especially the first game, can be. You've know it yourself. Magnus has talked at length about it. Also, pretty much when you make the first moves in your first World Championship match, the nerves are through the roof. And second one, and this was somewhat of a shocker to me, Gukesh's rapid and blitz performances have been pretty bad. I was trying to find him in the top 20 on 2700 chess, and he's nowhere to be found. I looked him up.
Top
He's
20.
around 2650.
Yeah, he's on the top 100. I mean,
Exactly. So
but
if
okay,
he,
I think this is a bit also exaggerated. Like obviously Gukesh is top 100 rapid player in the world. I mean, we're not saying that.
right,
But yeah, the ratings are not great.
right,
Um,
and Ding on the other hand has had some pretty decent results in rapid. Obviously, he won the world championship in rapid, but even this year in Kazakhstan at the World Rapid Teams, he did quite well. I think he scored something like 8.5 out of 11 or out of 12, whatever it was. He won some
okay, but
games. He showed
also
some pretty decent,
yeah,
decent level.
but like it's not a serious event, no? I mean,
Sure.
the World Rapid Team Championships and team event with nothing at stake, basically no prizes. Nobody really cares. Everyone's just there to collect a bit of money. Um, or maybe have some fun. I mean, it's not really a serious event. It's not a competitive event in the same way that let's say Norway Chess is a competitive event or the World Rapid and Blitz Championship. You know, either you have like a lot of money on the line or also individual versus team is just a big difference. But the larger issue is that, yeah, it's a plus. Ding and Rapid, uh, maybe it's not an underdog anymore against Gukesh. But I mean, let's discuss Rapid when they play 14 games first.
Right.
I don't see this. I don't know if I see this match going to
Oh,
Rapid.
I'm not saying it
I mean,
does.
it could.
I don't think it does.
It could.
I honestly, I don't think it does. But if it does, I think Ding has actually might see him as a favorite if it goes to Rapid.
I would. I would not say favorite, but okay. I'd feel much more because the thing is, I think Ding's nerves are basically shot. That's my feeling. And in classical chess, you have to hold your nerves much longer. So in rapid chess, he can basically just play like, he's a classy player. He plays good moves. And the nerves are not as prominent. I would say like the start of the match jitters. I mean, yeah, Gukesh will be super nervous, no doubt. But please don't tell me that Ding is the paradigm of solid nerves. I mean, I don't know. If you look at Ding, do you see like steady and stable? Like that's not my
No,
impression.
of course not.
So
Of course not.
Yeah,
personally.
I wouldn't say that that's a plus. I mean, Gukesh seems like a pretty stable, like somehow he finds his inner calm in stressful moments. So, but yeah, World Championship is different. It's even different than candidates because it's just one on one, and it's like kind of the final step, you know? So I don't know. They're both going to be nervous. I mean, we saw Jan. All his mistakes at the end of the match were just nerves against Ding. Everything was nerves. I mean, the what was it? 12th game was pure nerves. The 14th game was pure nerves. Even the eighth game. But yeah, overall, people do lose their nerves. It's like everyone is critical from the sidelines, and in some cases, it's normal to be critical. On the other hand, if you've never experienced that sort of pressure, then I mean, and when we're talking about the people on the internet, yeah, 99% of them probably can't even move chess pieces. So yeah, maybe they shouldn't be so critical. Um, I'm sure they can move chess pieces. I mean,
Don't
but
apologize to the internet. There's no
no,
reason
I'm
to
not
apologize
apologizing. I mean,
to the
they can
internet.
move them. Like they know the rules, I think. I think
They
maybe
have the bar.
maybe 50% know the rules.
They have the engine bar.
Yeah, the other 50%, yeah, I mean 100% of them, no, actually no. Maybe 70% of them can uh understand what the bar means.
Interesting.
I I I don't know if I know that
I
it's
think
impossible
it's
to
pretty
misunderstand what the bar means.
self-explanatory. Yeah, the bar
Yeah, but
goes up. It's
I
more
don't have
white or
much
it's more black.
I don't have much belief in the people watching. I don't know. But yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like chess, I understand getting in mainstream also means that not everyone is going to understand what's going on. And chess is difficult to understand what's going on because it's very specialized. And uh, like also I'm not trying to be mean. Like I watch tennis without understanding much about tennis. I'll watch basketball without understanding anything about basketball. On the other hand, I don't go online and start saying like LeBron is a piece of shit because he did something that I have no right to criticize. It's like I mean, at least when I watch tennis, I understand also just how difficult it is. So because I've also played a bit, so I understand that even the most basic things are so difficult. So when I watch the top players playing, I'm just in awe because they're amazing. But in chess, somehow, like maybe it's because of the bar. Like people have this
It is because
kind
of the
of
bar,
critical,
guaranteed.
yeah, yeah, but it's like, shouldn't you have some kind of self-awareness about this? Like, yeah, you could maybe even implement some sort of AI that tells you when people, okay, also in tennis, you can kind of see when people fuck up, but maybe, you know, you could have some AI that even tells you more or less when like the small errors occur, which is what happens in chess, right? We also see the small errors and they get a um they're basically unnoticeable, but then we get some kind of numerical change and people can see that this number is higher than that number. So then they get very critical. Uh, but you should somehow have the self-awareness that it's very difficult. And obviously, just because you can read numbers on a screen does not mean that you have any understanding of what's going on or the level of difficulty. So I don't know. I also think there is something a bit lousy about how the chess community, if you want to call it a community, or the chess viewers react to there's not like much admiration, it feels like. It's more criticism
Yeah, yeah.
than admiration for over chess games. Like it's mostly you watch some game and then it's just shit talking. Like, well,
That's
maybe it's fun to shit talk,
it
but
is. It is fun to
no,
shit
I'm
talk.
sure it is. I'm sure it is. But is it really fun to shit talk about something you don't know anything about?
It doesn't matter. You're being too objective about it. You're doing the fair thing that you generally do, and you're being too objective about it. This is pure entertainment on occasion.
Yeah,
Sometimes
but
it's
people are
entertainment.
entertained by tennis or basketball and
And
are
they
full of
still shit talk a
admiration.
lot. But they do
Yeah,
shit talk a lot. Like even in comparison to chess, I don't think there's less shit talking in tennis or any other sport. Fans, like the fans
I
are
think
always going to.
over
Hmm?
results, but not over moments in the game. Like when people uh are watching a match, they kind of watch it and understand that they're watching superhumans.
Mm,
Like the, there are only a handful of people who can reach this level of athleticism and who have devoted so many years of their life. Like you watch Alcaraz and you're like, I understand not only that this is difficult in the context of Alcaraz, but also that I could live for 1,000 years and never come close to achieving even a fraction of what he can achieve on a tennis court. But because chess is kind of like demystified, because now you can just you know plug it into an engine and get some numbers and get even a bar,
mm-hmm,
and you don't even have to look at the board. You just look at the seesaw.
mm-hmm.
Uh, it's completely demystified. Like you understand that you can't play tennis, but you don't understand that you can't play chess until you actually play it. That's my feeling
Yeah.
for many of the people watching. And so people in other sports they should talk results. Like some team is playing like shit, having a bad season, and then yeah, people start to pile on. But in chess, it's like every single move gets it. I mean, even even good moves because they're not the top move. So the bar changes a little bit, and then you watch like rapid games and Magnus is playing,
Have
and
you
people
heard
are like
Have you heard of the infinite monkey theory?
that like infinite monkeys could reproduce Shakespeare or something.
Right.
Or okay,
If you put a monkey and you give it infinite time to type on a typewriter, they would be able to, through infinity, replicate anything, basically, including Shakespeare's. Do you think that could be the case for a monkey playing chess? Do you think a monkey would be able to beat, I don't know, the greatest chess player that ever lived, or Stockfish, if you give it infinite time?
I mean, yeah, but just by definition, infinite, which is a completely meaningless concept to me, is that yes, eventually you will play. I mean, infinite is infinite, right? It covers all possibilities.
Yes.
So it will also cover the possibilities where you'll play the best
There's a
possible moves for
non-zero
every single move.
possibility. Yes, there's a non-zero possibility. So you through infinity, you should be able to cover that.
No, I mean, yeah, if you make random moves the entire game, there is a probability which is approaching zero very, very fast that that you will never ever win against a strong player. But there is theoretically a possibility that you could randomly make all the best moves. It would take because there's so many possible moves in chess. It would take trillions of games, but trillions is still within the realm of infinity. So, yeah.
I think we're we're
I mean,
digressing
infinity
here.
is also totally meaningless concept. Okay, whatever.
It's late at night. It's midnight in Singapore. It's time for me to start my day as well. Fabi, I think we covered a lot, and we're going on a tangent right now. So I'll let you go. Good luck tomorrow.
What did we decide about Gukesh Ding? Ding has a chance or Ding doesn't have a chance?
Th- Definitely has a chance, but obviously the odds are in Gukesh's favor. Do you want to put a number to it? Do you want to attach a number to it? Go ahead.
Sure. No, but okay. You want me to go reasonable or like? Because I said like, they asked me in the Olympiad, what do you think? Who's going to win? And I understand everyone says Gukesh.
Go with the
So just because
number that's going to
so I said Ding.
enrage the internet.
I don't think there's anything. It's, you know, people are too ambivalent in case of Ding and Gukesh. I don't think that they're going to be upset no matter what I say. I mean, if I say Ding 100% wins, it's silly. If I say Gukesh 100% wins, it's silly. If I say it's 50-50, everyone's happy.
Mm.
Uh, if I say Yeah, yeah, there's no way to upset the internet on this one. Everyone's happy. They're both very nice, uncontroversial. Ding is nice. Gukesh is a young guy, impossible to dislike. So everyone's happy. Whoever wins, we're all happy. But I'll say 70-30 for Gukesh.
I was just about to say that. I was literally on the dot with 70-30. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go higher. 80-20, and I think it's going to be a blowout. I think the match is going to be over in 12 games or less.
How many? Well, 12 games or less is
12 games
very.
or less.
I mean,
I don't know. If you want
12,
me to put an
12 games
exact number to
or
it,
8
I
games.
think the match is going to be over after 11 games.
It's pretty strong, but okay.
It is.
Um,
It is pretty strong.
yeah, it can happen. I mean, yeah, it really depends. I mean, maybe Ding will get some confidence if some of the games go his way from the start. If they don't, I don't see him mounting a comeback ever, but things could theoretically go his way somehow. It's possible.
Okay, Fabi, we've covered a lot. Thanks for joining, and good luck in the last round. And I'll see you next week. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.